good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Welcome to iplGRATITUDE365 podcast produced by It's Pure Love, where we unlock the equation of life and abundant happiness. My name is Thane Martin, and this is my brother, Logan Hall. Welcome to our show today. We're going to dive into one of the most powerful principles of all, multiplication. But here's the twist. It's not about doing math. It's about how intention, action, and the presence of higher power combines to amplify your life in ways you can't even imagine. So what if your smallest daily intention could ripple outward into a wave of transformation? What if your choices aligned with action and magnified by a higher frequency didn't just add to your life, but multiplied your existence 100-fold? So stick with us for this next hour, because today we're going to explore how to live not just bigger, but multiplied. Our topic today comes from the equation of life and abundant happiness. We also call it ELAH, where we apply the same principles that govern physical reality using mathematical expressions to our emotional reality and our emotional energy via mathematics, the language of the universe. So our topic today is multiplication, the power of attention, intention, action, and resonance in a higher power through the equation of life and abundant happiness. So, what if the most powerful force in your life isn't what you add or subtract, but what you multiply through your intentions, your actions, and the resonance of your higher power? Would you live differently if you knew that every moment of focus had a potential impact? So today we're going to talk about why multiplication is the most powerful of the equation life and abundant happiness principles, the role of intention as the seed of multiplication, how action ignites that exponential momentum, the unseen presence of a higher power as an amplifier and raiser of frequency, practical ways that we can multiply using gratitude, kindness, and opportunities, and then finally, a closing challenge to help you choose what to multiply today. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this topic today, right? Multiplication. I know when we talk math, a lot of people want to tune out, right? And what they don't realize is when you understand how the universe is organized, right? If I want to get to the sun, the only way I'm going to get to the sun is with a mathematical equation.
That is true.
And the distance from the sun to Pluto or Jupiter, whatever, it's all mathematical equations.
Yeah.
So if the entire universe is organized by math, can be described by math, and you understand that the universe is made of the same building blocks. We go back to atoms, right? Which is positive and negative.
Right.
So we as human beings are made up of atoms, which are positive and negative. So we're using positive and negative. That must mean that multiplication and division, what also works in math, could also apply to human emotion if we applied it to our lives. Why? Because human emotion is emotional, physical energy. And physical energy is created through atoms, the same atoms that built you.
Yes.
That's the truth. That's why the equation life and abundant happiness, when you take mathematical principles and apply it to human emotion, it works. And when you do it correctly, you achieve perfect balance and ultimately abundant happiness.
Yes.
That is the truth. And that is the technique that I use to fix my life and to fix your life and to fix around 25 other people's lives.
Right.
That took my course and trusted me enough to learn and be open.
Yeah.
They were willing, because they trusted me,
Right.
they were willing to be open to let me teach them some interesting principles. Every single one of them that have learned this to this day is flying high,
Thriving.
Yeah. And they love the equation life and abundant happiness, and they love their bracelet.
Yeah.
Right? They love their bracelet. It's part of our program. We use it to teach with, and the bracelet is a way of correcting your behavior. And I know that sounds funny to say, but we use it to train humans because we're just like monkeys. Ultimately, our bodies, they're primal, man. They are monkeys. So if I want to get my body to behave, I got to train it.
But I think also taking your course, you have to get uncomfortable to get comfortable to get success.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yep, good point. All right, so the framework, just a reminder, there's a bug crawling on me because we are at Pima Park. We're outside. We've had lightning this morning and a little bit of thunder, a tiny bit of rain, and Looks like it's going to be an overcast day, which
It
is nice
is.
because I do kind of like the
Yeah.
weather. All right. So the basic principles of the equation life and abundant happiness is, again, using mathematical expressions to bring forth beauty in the world. So addition is when we bring in beauty. We add those things that increase joy in our lives, right? So our job is to add those things that bring balance. Subtraction is about releasing. It's about releasing negativity, letting go of the things that don't help us, and achieving a state of balance. Okay. Now, we achieve subtraction and addition through gratitude, which is the emotional power and the seed, the spark, the fuel to an abundantly happy life. It's gratitude.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
You're going to find love. Love
Yeah.
is going to come,
Right.
but gratitude comes first.
Yes.
Okay. Because you can create love with any human being.
Yeah.
With gratitude.
Absolutely.
Nothing else can do that. That's why it's so incredibly powerful. Okay, so that's why today we started this week with addition. Yesterday we talked about subtraction, and today we're talking about multiplication, which is amplifying what already exists.
Yes.
Okay, so what it basically means, if you're working the equation life and abundant happiness, is that I need to reach a state of pure balance. Okay. And when I reach that state of perfect balance, I'm not leaning left, I'm not leaning right, I'm exactly where I need to be. That's when you engage multiplication.
Yes.
Okay. And multiplication is when we're adding, because we are aware. Okay. That's attention.
We're in the here and now.
Correct.
The present.
And what we teach with the equation life and abundant happiness and the training that we do is we teach you to be aware.
Yeah.
Okay, most people have a habit of spending it in their past or their future.
Yeah, unfortunately,
they're daydreaming constantly, and it's a nasty habit. And when you do it, you miss the magic of the present and the many signs that you could be seeing, but you're closed, you're not seeing them because you're stuck in the past or a future that you can't control.
Yes.
Okay, so when you come to multiplication, think about how it is about amplification. It's about growing and becoming exponential.
Yeah.
If I have perfect balance and I want to grow this perfect feeling and spread it to everybody else, how do I do that?
You got to make the ripple effect.
You got to make the ripple. You have to put the intention behind that attention and then create action.
You got to throw that stone in that still water and make that ripple effect.
And once it gets bigger, then we know the next mathematical expression is division,
which we'll talk
will talk about tomorrow, which is sharing.
Yeah.
Or reducing the burden of somebody else. That is division. And then, of course, the last sign, which is actually the first sign, which is equals, right?
Yes.
An equal sign is gratitude. All right. So why multiplication matters most is it's exponential. It's a seed that becomes a tree and then a forest. It's contagious. Energy spreads beyond the origin, and it transforms private choices into public ripples. So think of planting a single apple seed. You don't just get one apple, you get a tree that produces multiple apples for years, each of them filled with more seeds, each capable of producing more trees. You see, multiplication isn't linear, it's exponential, and it's life expanding. So when we're creating the perfect life and we're balancing positive and negatives and we want to multiply them, we want to ripple them through our present, we want to ripple them into our future by planting the appropriate seeds and then engaging the higher power. Okay, we call that the resonant higher power. And what is that? It's what resonates with you, and it is your belief system.
Which is
the
a
higher power.
choice.
Yes, we're all here on our own choice to figure out what the purpose of life is.
That is true.
And there's all these different religious frameworks that have been created, and they all speak that they are true, every single one of them. And that's what's interesting about religion. Every single one of them believes that, and everybody else is wrong, which is kind of interesting, right?
That is interesting.
And that's where so many wars in this world have come from that. And that's sad because that's not what God wants.
Right.
That is not what God wants. Okay, so here's a great quote from Albert Einstein. I like this one. Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's right, because if you understand compound interest, that's how rich people stay rich.
Yeah.
Right? Their money's working for them.
That is true.
And then it gets bigger, and then you apply that return, and it gets bigger, and you apply return. So it compounds, and it gets bigger, right? All right. So imagine this. Do not underestimate the multiplication of a single intention perfectly set in love, because it just ripples, right?
It does.
I'll give you a perfect example. I did a experiential exercise from the deck, my card deck that I've created of 101 experiential exercises. And I did something without, I don't want to talk about it too much because I don't want people to know who I am.
Right.
But I did something in a public way.
Yes, you
and
did.
I planted some seeds of goodness.
Yeah, you did.
Right. I went someplace and I created some goodness in a funny way. And I left little things behind with notes and messages for people to find. And I did it because I wasn't having a good day that day.
Yeah.
But I used the equation and my tools to lift my happiness and my spirits. And when you practice gratitude, I'm not talking please and thank you.
Right.
Experiential
Something
gratitude,
a little bit more
completely
deeper.
different. We
Yep.
are the kings of experiential gratitude. Nobody knows this better than you and I.
That's
Nobody.
true.
And these
Yeah.
exercises.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. And they work.
They do.
100%. And every one of them actually ripples, which is the beauty of multiplication. Because when you practice gratitude, it always ripples because it's not just you that benefits.
You're inviting someone else
It's
into
them.
it. Yeah.
And if you do it in the right way, if you say to yourself, okay, I've got some goodness here.
Yeah.
How can I make it as big as possible? Because that's what we ultimately want.
Yeah. Because
we want the biggest possible, splash. How can I make the biggest splash in the pond with this current happiness that I have?
By touching someone's life, and then they're going to touch someone's life, and then so on and so on and so on. That's where the ripple effect is.
So multiplication, it starts with attention.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we have to be aware as humans in order to be able to see the things that are in front of us and around us that can help us. Right. But most of us, we're stuck again in that past. We're in our heads.
Yep.
Right? With people that have rented space in our heads that don't belong there.
That's true.
Okay.
Yep.
Or we're in our future.
Because we're stuck in that victim role.
Yes.
Where I'm a victim.
Yeah. I'm a victim. Okay. So you have to be aware first. That's why in the course that I train, I have to bring your awareness to the present.
Yeah.
And I have a way of doing that. And it takes about 3 days.
Yeah.
Right. In about 3 days, actually, I think a lot of people become more aware of where their head is.
3 to 5 days.
Well, that's going to be the conversion of your pathways.
Oh, yeah.
But it's usually within the first day.
Yeah.
Most people get it. All right. So when I have attention and I'm now aware and I'm no longer going to past my present, I need to add intention.
Right.
Which is my focus.
Yes.
What I'm going to put my energy towards, right?
What's your goal?
Yeah. Because without intention, action is aimless.
Yeah.
Right. Now you're just swinging at what? You got to have intention. So with it, action has clarity and power. Mm-hmm. Right. Now, the science, the neuroscience behind that shows that intention primes the brain. Okay. So think of it as like it's a pump. Okay. And you have a pump inside your body. And when you apply intention, you are priming the pump that you're going to need to create the action. So intention is kind of like that pump, right? So we can visualize and we can set our goals and let that neural network in our brain know what our intention is. Okay, that's important. You have to tell the brain what you want it to do.
Yeah.
Quit reacting, create.
Yep.
Right? That's the problem. I will tell you this, when you learn the equation of life and abundant happiness, you will no longer react to life.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, you don't react. You create life.
You do.
Because you understand that you hold the keys to the Ferrari.
Absolutely.
And you've had it the entire time, but you forgot it.
Yeah.
You forgot it because of the world that we live in.
Yeah.
You forgot it because our heart disconnected from our brain.
I just wish I knew this many years ago.
Right. That's why we do what we do here. And
But
we're sharing this with people that want to listen and want to learn.
Grateful enough to have it today to move forward.
That's right. So setting an intention, say like before a meeting, like I'm going to listen deeply and pay attention. That intention multiplies into more understanding, collaboration, and trust with the people that you work with.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I'm setting intention when I'm going to create gratitude that day. And my intention is I'm going to notice beauty today.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I say my intention today is to notice little small things around me that bring me joy, by simply making that statement and saying in the morning when our brain is malleable, this is what I'm looking for today, the brain will confirm that.
Yes.
It will begin looking for those little things that you said was your intention, which came from your attention. You see?
Yeah.
Okay. So intention is the whisper that tells action where to go.
Yeah.
Think of it like that way. And it's also the seed of intention carries the DNA of your multiplied future. That's how you have to look at it.
Yeah, you do.
Because what you're doing today, think about your garden. You're
Yeah.
planting the seed so that it can multiply.
Yeah.
Think of that apple tree.
Cultivating that garden.
Correct. So how do I cultivate and grow my garden? It takes intention, action, and a plan.
Yep.
And it also involves a higher power.
Yeah, that's true.
That's your resonant source of goodness. Whatever resonates with you as your source of higher power. Again, we are not a religious organization. We're not affiliated with religion. Or politics for that matter. What we believe in is just live an abundantly happy life. And I have my belief systems from my life experience, and sometimes I share them on the show. But it's really more about your experience in life and what you want to believe.
I think it has to be that way.
Yeah, because we're all on our own journey.
Because you can't live someone else's experience and claim it as your own.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? So I've had a near-death experience.
Yes.
And
I was with you that night, sort of.
Yep. And helicopter. We are a live podcast, everybody, and some things get into the mic, even though we have the denoise filter on. What was I saying? Oh, it's fine.
You were talking about your near-death experience.
Okay, so that near-death experience for me, I remember more than I share with people.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And the reason I chose
it's personal.
It is. And here's the other thing. I understand that everybody that comes here, right? I mean, our energy, our souls come from heaven.
Yeah.
Right? I believe that.
I believe that as well.
And when we come here, we get a body. And we get a body so that we can learn, because without the body, the soul can't learn.
A body that we have chosen for ourselves.
Correct. And your body was created through genetics, right? Of which 80% of your personality comes from your mom and dad, and the other 20% you create.
Yes.
Okay. But it doesn't mean that you're locked into that genetics. You can change that. That's called epigenetics, where you can actually change your DNA with thought process and the biological chemistry that is involved in transformation. Yeah. It is true. That stuff is real. All right. So here's a great quote from Wayne Dyer, who's a really popular self-help author and speaker. Our intention creates a reality.
Yeah,
right?
That is true.
That is right. Because without intention, how can you create it? It has to be there, right? But how much time do we do that? Now, I want you to do me a favor. I hate the word right. And it's a habit that it's like real common in our world, and we all talk that way.
Yeah.
But there's no reason to say the word right, because when you say the word right, you're like saying, do you believe me? Do you see? It's like an old habit.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I say the word right, I want you to hit me.
Well, same goes for me.
Okay. I want to break the habit. And if you're a listener and I use the word right, I want you to hit the thumbs up. Right? Give me some kind of note that says, Thane,
we should get a jar
every
time we say right,
I have to put money in it. Oh,
no.
That would get my attention. That would get my attention. All right. So intention without action is basically potential that's unrealized, right? Multiplication requires energy in motion. So from a neuroscience tie-in, right, neuroplasticity proves that repeated actions strengthen the neural pathways, and every action is actually realistically a vote for what you're becoming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I believe that 100%. I went out yesterday and did, I paid every single person I ran into a compliment.
Yes.
Whether it was, I like your shirt, you look beautiful today.
Yep. And that's actually one of the experiential cards in my deck. Yeah. That all day today, in every conversation that you have, you pay somebody a compliment. And don't make it your traditional compliments.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Get edgy, be authentic. Yeah.
You got great hair.
Yeah. And you know what? Because we don't hear it and we're not seen.
That's why I got some looks yesterday. Like, you're commenting on my hair. And I did it to men and women. I'm like, you look great today. I like that shirt. I like your smile.
And isn't it funny how people are uncomfortable?
They are.
Yeah. Because of this divided world that we live in.
Well,
did you also notice when, you said right. See? Right? Okay. But isn't it interesting when you go into the world how toxic it is right now?
Yeah.
Like, it's ugly, man.
It is
ugly. Like, you walk anywhere and you can just feel the tension.
You're,
And you can
yeah.
feel it in the grocery store. You
Oh,
feel it standing
100%.
in line at the Circle K.
Mhm.
It's scary how
It
we
is.
are right now.
Yeah.
You know, watching what's going on. And again, I don't want to get into politics. I certainly have my opinion, but that's not my job here.
Yeah.
You know, that's up to everybody to figure out what they believe.
True.
You know, all I would
True.
tell you is this, though, and this is really important. When you are what you consume,
Yes.
okay?
I
So
believe
what's
that.
really important today
Yeah.
in this divide is to be open to both ends,
Mhm.
okay? Because I realized that for a while there, I was listening to a lot of news that
Mhm.
was slanted a specific direction.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it
And then
grabbed your attention, and you started believing that.
Yes. Okay. And then I realized that I was making a mistake because both the left and the right lie. They
Yeah.
both lie. Our
Yeah.
public officials do not tell us the truth.
Yeah.
So the only thing that you can do to really try and figure it out is you have to watch both.
You do.
Okay.
To get
and I gotta say, it was
opinion.
hard for me at first.
Yeah.
Because it, in a way, was like admitting that I was wrong.
Mm.
And that's not correct either.
Yeah.
Where does neutral lie? In the middle.
Yeah.
In the middle.
Both
a little
sides.
of this and a little of
that.
that. And actually, from a political perspective, that's how I roll.
Yeah.
I'm an independent.
Same.
Okay. There are certain things I like from certain parties. You know, I like the fiscal responsibility of the Republicans, but I tend to be more socially aligned with the liberals on social issues. Right. So, and you know, and if America was perfect and we really put the Constitution first, we'd put that first.
Yeah.
But they forgot that the pledge they made is to the Constitution and the freedoms of the United States, not themselves and their own political agenda.
Yeah.
That's what they're forgetting. But anyways, we're not talking about politics. Letting that go. Moving on. So let's talk about some examples where we align intention with action and then how that results in multiplication. So here's an example. The intention is to be more grateful.
Yes.
Okay. That is the intention. The action which you did yesterday was you went out and you said you created compliments for every person that you saw that day.
Yes.
Right. And what you also learned is, sadly enough, people are not comfortable getting compliments.
No, they're not. They're
what does
taken
that
aback.
say? And what does that say about where they're at?
Mm.
Okay. Because there are many people that don't like being complimented because they don't feel they're worthy of the compliment.
Yeah.
It goes back to worthiness.
Well, I
And
think
why
I
we're
can relate to
speaking
that
of
is
worthiness,
because I was like that.
Yeah, and why we're thinking about worthiness, I'm working with a client right now that was beat up in a difficult home situation.
Mm.
Okay, a difficult life, and one that was challenging. And when I met her, she was kind of at wit's end. Okay, and what was amazing about her was to watch her find herself.
Mm.
And
that's the greatest gift that you can find.
And that she truly today now understands that she has been, always was, worthy. And will always be worthy.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So we in our program we create an agreement with the self.
Yes.
And it's 3 words that we choose that define who we are, right? Mine are, I am Thane Martin.
Yes.
I'm a powerful, authentic, loving man.
Mine is respectful, loving, and honest.
Correct. Okay. And this person chose worthy of one of her words. And when she said that, I mean, I got the chills.
Yeah.
Because I realized that everything that I taught her worked.
Yeah.
Because she now realized that she did have value and she was giving it away. Because she didn't believe in herself.
But now she
believes in herself. And the world had beat her up and she adopted it and she said, I'm not worthy.
Yeah.
How many people run through the world, and you saw them yesterday?
Yeah.
That did not like getting a compliment.
They're taken aback. They're like, what is this guy doing? He's paying me a compliment. He doesn't know me. But
right. Okay, so here's what happened yesterday. What was the multiplication in that exercise?
It was a ripple effect.
Exactly. Yeah. Everything that you did created goodness in another human being. And if you lifted the hearts of 20 people that day, and then they went home and lifted the hearts of their 20 people, that's why it's exponential.
Yeah, because what I did is by giving each person a compliment, what I got in the end was a smile, smile, a twinkle in the eye.
Yeah. A little bit of a lift, right?
A little bit of a lift.
A little bit of what we used to be like before we got divided by these ugly politicians.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So here's another example. So the intention is I want to heal a relationship. My intention is to create goodness in the world, and I want to heal relationships. So I'm going to make a list of the people that I have wronged, and I'm going to reach out to them,
But
and I'm going to
this
begin the dialogue.
almost correlates to what you did yesterday with your letter.
Yeah, somewhat
You
similar.
healed yourself.
Yeah, I healed myself.
And
Yeah.
I'm very proud of you for that.
Thank
That was
you.
amazing.
And you know what's really cool? Like,
you're not
this
carrying
stuff-
it around anymore.
No,
you
I'm
seem
not.
lighter.
Mm-mm.
I can tell by your
100%.
demeanor today.
Yeah, it doesn't affect me now. I'm like,
Right.
no, it's over. I literally got it out, said what I need to say, and then I burned it.
Because there was a heaviness to you.
Yeah.
I just didn't know what
Yeah.
it was. But now
Yeah.
today there's
It was
a lightness
affecting me.
about you.
Well, it wasn't just that. It was some other things. But that's just going to show the importance of, you know,
You got to get it off your chest.
I'm the author of this thing, and I'm
Yes.
also human.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, you know,
This is your story. Your story to write.
and it's, you know, we started this as a social media experiment.
And it's turned into something
And the
wonderful.
equation life and abundant happiness
Yeah.
has been a learning process for this entire 365 days, which we're coming up on Saturday. Yeah, let's get that out there for our listeners.
Yeah.
So Saturday is our 365th day and the end of our social media experiment, which was what would happen if I could wake up every morning and celebrate that sunrise.
It's just the end of the experiment. We will still continue.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. But the initial experience, getting up, watching that every single day. I mean, when I had the flu, I was up anyways. I made a commitment. I'm getting up. I'm taking my vomit bowl outside on the patio, and I'm watching that sun come up.
Even when you're in other states, we still continue.
Still continued, right? So that's on Saturday. So if you're a local and you're here at the park, come see us at Pima Park, which is basically
McQueen and Thatcher.
McQueen and Thatcher. Yeah. But come down and say hi to us, right? We're gonna have some donuts and some balloons and just have a little fun with everybody on that day. All right. So here's another quote. I like this one. This is actually one that I wrote. Ready? Dreams remain whispers until action multiplies them into echoes the world can hear.
That's beautiful.
Right?
That is beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right. Now, here's another quote. This is a good one from Tony Robbins, right? Someday, I'm going to teach him this technique.
After your quote, you should have done the hallelujah button because that
this one? Let's see if it works today. So what's going to be interesting is to find out if that showed up in the audio going out to the feed, because I don't know. There's something weird. So technology,
we're praising
right?
that.
We're still learning. Yeah,
statement.
Absolutely. All right. So let's talk about the higher power. Okay. Actually, I apologize. I didn't give you Tony Robbins' quote. Tony Robbins' quote: "The path to success is to take massive, determined action."
Very, very
determined
much so.
Comes from intention.
Yeah, it does.
Right? And then action is what delivers the results through multiplication. All right. Now let's talk about what I call the resonant higher power. All right. So, you know, my personal story, grew up LDS, a member of the Mormon faith, and having the Mormon faith in my life for generations. My family were founding members of the Mormon church. One of my great aunts was married to one of the prophets, and it's been in my family. But, you know, sadly enough, I began being abused early on. It began at age 8. And it continued until about age 14. And I was abused by a janitor that was an employee of the church. And I was also abused by a leader of the church. And unfortunately, there was another man involved, and that man lived nearby me. He was a neighbor. But between the group, they ran a pedophile ring, and they abused boys, right? Sadly enough, none of them were caught, okay? But I can list off the names of 4 young men that I know that all took their own lives, and I was almost one of them. Right. So 4 of my childhood friends took their own lives because of what happened to them, because they struggled with identity. They struggled with awareness. They struggled with depression. They just struggled with being seen. They struggled with the demons, all of that. And that came from being abused by people in a religion
that stripped you of your power, your voice.
It took everything from me. Yeah. And most of my life, I have been encumbered by that. Not anymore.
I can relate.
You can relate from your story. So along the way, I've had my own challenges with a relationship with God.
Yeah.
You know, like I was talking yesterday, I was mad at God most of my life because I thought that God would just do nothing but punish me and I could never do anything right.
Yeah.
And a lot of that came from the teachings in the LDS church. Okay. Now, again, I have many members of my family that are LDS today, and I love them.
Yeah.
And I support them in their belief system. And the church is a wonderful thing, and it does good things. And if it works for you, then you should do it.
Yeah, that's what
Okay.
I was going to say.
It is
works
your
for them.
choice for your resonant higher power.
Yeah.
It is what resonates with you.
Yep.
Okay. So in the equation of life and abundant happiness, the multiplication sign, which is actually in the formula,
Yes.
is not only multiplication, but it's a symbol of that higher power.
Mhm.
So what is that higher power, and what does it resonate with you? Because everybody has a different belief system.
Yeah.
The belief system came from where you were born.
Yeah.
Where you were born, in the belief system that existed in your parents. And most of us adopted the belief system from our parents. Some of us, because of life and the challenges, started kicking those and started saying, you know what? In my case, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm kicking the tires of this organization. And the more I kick the tires, the more I realize that I'm not sure that I buy into this framework.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that I can fully embrace this. And ultimately, it did not make me happy.
Right.
It did not make me happy. Yeah. And so I'm like, why am I going to church feeling like I'm ready to slit my wrist when I walk out? This is not helping me.
Yeah.
Church is supposed to uplift me. And I feel like,
yeah,
that's not right.
No.
So I pulled away. Right? I pulled away. I got angry at God. I'm like, I want nothing to do with this. And I became an atheist.
Yeah.
I became an atheist. And being an atheist is okay for a period of time.
Yeah.
Okay. But eventually you start looking at things and you're like, you know what? There's just too many things that are kind of in synchrony, adding up and making sense. And
you start questioning things.
I can't, there has to be a reason.
Yeah.
So, you know, I left being a believer, and then I went back to being an atheist. And then from atheism, I moved towards being agnostic, right? Agnostic meaning there is something out there that's a higher power, and I don't necessarily know what it is.
You believe, but yet you don't necessarily.
You don't know
deny.
exact. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Agnostic. Exactly. So there is something.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it is.
Right.
You can call it the power of the universe. If you don't believe in the word God or a man or a person, again, that's your belief system. I'm not here to train you on that or tell you which one to choose. And even though I've had a near-death experience and I know the correct answer, I will not give it to you.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm not going to give it to you.
Because that's personal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every single person needs to find this story on their own. That's part of the life experience, right?
True.
So even though I know the answer, I'm not going to give it to you. And the reason I'm not going to give it to you is I want you to find it yourself. Because if I give it to you, I'm cheating you out of many, many important lessons that your soul needs to learn. That's the truth. That's why I'm never going to say, if somebody said, Thane, did you meet Jesus? I'm not going to answer that question. I will not answer that. You're on your own journey.
Yeah.
Do your own soul searching and figure it out.
Self-examination.
That is the truth.
Okay.
So I went, I kind of went from being agnostic. And then I started doing a ton of studying and a ton of research. And then I fell into gratitude. And then I used that technique that I discovered one day accidentally in the world. And I'm going to tell you right now, something touched me on the head.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something touched me in this interaction with this human being, and it completely changed who I was. And I mean, it was instant.
Well, I think that goes back to the ripple effect, because whatever touched you touched me, and then it touches other people, and so
it
on
touched
and so
the
on.
person that I was talking to.
Yeah.
But when I got that, right, we call it the gratitude cocktail. You want to learn how to do it, you're going to have to take my seminar.
Yep.
Okay.
And they can do that by going to iplGRATITUde365.
No, I'm the correct one.
Oh,
you want to go to itspurelove.com. Yeah, always go there because the links to the social are, it is, so on YouTube, the channel is iplGRATITUde365. Okay. There is a Facebook group, iplGRATITUde365. Okay. But there's different links to all the groups. And the original episodes, the ones we did on Instagram, because we weren't starting a podcast, we were just kind of playing, really. Those links are still out there on my website. So go to itspurelove.com, and eventually you'll be able to find everything under iplGRATITUde365. But everything, what we do, what we teach, how do I learn, how do I sign up, where can I buy this, that's itspurelove.com.
There you go.
Okay. So in my own personal story, ultimately now, I do have a belief in a higher power. Okay. Yeah. And I know who and what that is.
Yep.
Okay. That is mine. you get to pick yours,
Yeah.
and you get to pick yours.
Yep.
Okay,
True.
because that's not my job, your job. So everybody's resonant higher power is going to be different because we all come from different belief systems.
Yeah.
So that higher power, if you're Catholic, that's God.
Yeah. Well, who said that my belief system should be exactly what my donors or my parents should be?
Right. Just
should
because
have
you
the
were born into
freedom
the
to,
family. That is right.
Experiment and look into
but-
different things that work for me.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I mean, think about it. Like, when I was at LDS,
Yeah.
and I raised my girls LDS, the last thing you want is your kids leaving the faith and going and doing something else, and it's strongly discouraged. And when you it's like cult-like behavior. When you start looking outside to kind of kick the tires, they swarm you like bees, man, because they know that once you start kicking the tires, you may find some things that don't make sense and don't add up. So there's all these mechanisms that they have to keep controlling of you. It doesn't mean it's an evil organization. It's not. It has an intention to do good. But there are some things in the organization that I personally think, they're kind of evil. And that's also why I checked out.
I can relate to cult-like experiences for sure.
Right. Yeah. Now you were in a cult. That is for sure. Right. Okay. So that resonant higher power is really understanding that our actions and our intentions can only get bigger if we leverage the power of the higher power.
Yeah.
So who is the resonant being? That's really the question.
Yeah.
Right? It's a resonant being that you believe controls the universe.
That works in your life.
Who's the resonant? Is it God for you? I use the word God a lot. It's the word I'm comfortable with.
I think it's a word that most people are familiar with.
Yeah. And so, do I believe in God? Yep. Exactly what that is, who that is, and all that stuff. I'm not going to tell you that.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's interesting how I went from agnostic, right? That death experience told me,
that was your awakening. That was your awakening moment.
That's when I got the download.
Yeah.
That's when I started writing the equation Life and Abundant Happiness.
Yeah.
That came from that experience.
And
that's where that knowledge came from. Yeah. So we all have a different higher power, you see. And the key is to tie into that higher power, because think of it this way. Resonance increases amplitude and frequency.
Yeah.
Okay. So we understand that in the equation Life and Abundant Happiness, one of the key principles is the principle of vibration, which is essentially understanding that everything is energy. And if you don't believe that, you're really foolish.
Yeah.
Okay. Because everything is energy, and God works through energy.
Yeah.
God works through energy, and science is just trying to understand how God manipulates energy. And that's the truth.
Well, look at it with the heart being full of energy. That's why we have defibrillators to shock the heart back into
when
an
you
electrical
die,
circuit.
the electrical energy in your body leaves.
Yep.
And you're dead. That's your soul. The energy is your soul.
Yes.
Okay. And when you die, your soul takes that energy and every memory and everything that you learned, right? And you're going to ask yourself, well, how does that work, Thane? Because you don't have any physical representation. You want to know the answer? You want to know the answer? It's stored in light.
Yeah.
Your soul is stored in light. Okay. That's why when you die and when your body leaves,
you see that bright light.
And you go back to the light from which you came, and you take everything that you learned, and it is retained and stored in the molecules of light. That's where it comes from. All right. So the higher power is the resonance itself. We have to align with it so that your intentions become those unstoppable waves. Okay. Remember, life is waves. We have the increase and the decrease.
Yes.
It is a natural wave that occurs in everything, right? You don't believe me? I'll challenge my listeners. Okay. Take for the following week, okay, maybe even for a couple of weeks, write down the 5 sections of your life that you want to analyze, and you pick the 5 things. Okay. Maybe one of them is career. So today I'm going to give myself a happiness score of career, a 9. Okay. I'm going to be a 9. All right. And then if you look at, when I say happiness, and I'm also thinking synchronicities, right? Because that's what you get when you walk in alignment and goodness in your purpose. You get the synchronicities, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I did not believe that.
Right.
I did not believe that. When people said that, I'm like, you guys are full of woo-woo BS, and I don't believe it. No, It's true.
It is
When
true.
you do this exercise
Yeah.
and you turn that thing on,
Yep.
right? And
Yep.
you get that light in your heart and you're connected to the world, to the universe, to the higher power,
Yeah.
everything changes. Everything changes. All right. So here's a great quote from Carl Jung. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Right?
Beautifully said.
Yeah. So if we kept track of each section of our life,
Mhm.
you would see a pattern develop.
The trajectory.
Yeah, and it would be your wave.
Yeah.
So if I tracked my happiness in my relationships,
Mhm.
I would see a wave.
Yeah.
Because everything in life is about a wave.
Yeah.
Okay. Frequency is how fast the waves smush together.
Mhm.
Right. So you can either have a low flat waveform, that's actually bass notes in music, or you can have a very high, very big, which is what is amplitude, right? Amplitude is the size of the wave. Frequency is how often the cycle completes. Frequency, there are 60 cycles in a minute. That's frequency. Amplitude is how big did it get, right? So in sound, it's what is the dB level? What's the decibel of sound? That's the measurement of amplitude on a sound wave, okay? But you define what is the measurement that you're going to look at. So if let's say it's your relationship, and you want to track what is the wave of your relationship. So every day you assign a score about how happy you are, and if you're seeing signs of glimmers in your relationship, because the glimmers are the indication from the
universe,
your higher power,
Yeah.
that you're walking the correct path, and you're going where you need to go. Okay, boy, it is hotter than blazes. I'm like sweating like a mofo over here. Okay, so that's not fun.
Salty.
Yeah. So, and isn't it funny how my brain works? My brain is so disconnected sometimes. It's like I'm good, I'm locked in, I know exactly what I need to say, and then I do one thing, and my thought disconnects. Right? That came from the damage in my brain.
Yeah.
That came from being abused as a kid and struggling with some really difficult disorders. Sometimes it's hard for me cognitively, the way my brain works, the way it is healed. I lose my space, but that's why I rely upon hard drive to put me back on track again. Right. So that does happen. And I said, right, and you did not hit me. I got to work on that. And I got to have my audience help me with that. Right. See, I just said it again. Oh my heavens, that is so difficult.
So you were talking about how you have to score like your relationship and how like the universe is talking to you. And
yes, thank you. Because and so that's because, so let's say, I evaluated my relationship with Joy and it's a 10. Yeah. Today it's a 10. And next week I evaluate my relationship with Joy, 4. and it's a little less than 10. Yeah. It's like a 9. Because there's some things going on. We're not talking maybe as much as we should. I'd say maybe it's not even a 9. Maybe it's an 8. Yeah. So you assign. You get to set how you're going to measure it. That's up to you. Yeah. But if you plotted it on a data graph, over time, you would see the development of a wave. Yeah. So the key in understanding how everything works is to understand where you're at on the wave.
It kind of just reminded me how you said that. It reminds me of like the stock market, how there's ups and downs with the stock market. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's what it reminded me of.
But the reason why, see, the biggest mistake people make when they're creating and living their life, and I did this repeatedly, and I still do it, I still struggle with it, is we push.
Yeah, we do.
Because
we want everything instantaneously.
Well, and remember that everything runs in cycles. So if the wave is here, and it's going up, eventually, what does that mean? It's going to go down. Yeah, it's going to go down naturally. The problem is we think that it goes up forever, and so when it goes down, we tend to push. When we should not be pushing. Yeah. That is the most important lesson I could teach you, and the hardest one for me to learn as well, which is when to disconnect from pushing and simply trust.
And let it come naturally.
Simply be and let the probabilities arrange like they need to arrange to bring what you need to you at the perfect time. Yes. That does happen when you believe. Yeah. When you believe. Yeah. When you disconnect and you do not believe and you don't have faith, it doesn't happen. Yeah. Does not happen. So when you reach, the reason why you cycle the waves is to figure out where you're at. so that you don't push when you should be quiet and silent, so that God can tell you where you need to go and who you need to talk to and what door needs to open.
We're all players in life,
But that
and this
goes
is our
back to,
scorecard.
what does it go back to though?
Gratitude
It does, but it really goes back
to your
to
source.
your faith in that source.
Yeah.
Okay. Because what you're saying is, look, I've been riding this wave. The doors have been open. Okay. As I started this podcast and I started creating this thing, man, the doors started opening everywhere I looked. I was meeting somebody, there were people, there were synchronicities, everything was going great. And then the reality is life happens.
Yeah.
And things happen.
Yeah.
And negativity sets in. Yeah. And even though I wrote the equation Life and Abundant Happiness, I am human.
Yeah.
And I adopted some crap and I let it seep into my life and it affected me. It affected me. And I lost the connection. I lost the synchronicities. I wasn't saying it. And so what did I do? Work. Oh, something's not right. I need to work. So then I start getting very, very busy creating things and I'm full of busy. Yeah. But the problem with full of busy is I'm working on things that aren't in alignment. They're not in focus and I don't have the help of the higher power. So therefore I'm going to struggle and I'm going to make a lot of mistakes and I'm going to beat myself up. So what should I have done? I should have gotten quiet. Yeah. If I would have recognized.
Listen to the stillness.
Yep. If I would have recognized the signs, and the signs are glimmers, those natural things that happen that are not coincidences.
Because the world,
those are not coincidences.
Quiet.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. People say that's a coincidence. It's not. It's intentional. Yeah. It's because you're walking the right path. So your first sign that you're at the top of it is the glimmers. The minute you lose the glimmers, okay, that's when something's happening. It doesn't necessarily mean that you've done something wrong. When I notice that I don't have glimmers in my life, you have to ask yourself the question, have I done something that would tarnish my belief system? Because if I have disconnected and I need to rekindle my faith and connect to that power. That's a question that you have to ask yourselves.
That's true.
Okay. The second thing is, am I responsible for this? In other words, have I not used the right direction and action? And that's why I'm where I'm at. So I have to have some accountability for myself and the choices that I made. Yeah. Now, if I look at that and I'm not seeing any glimmers, I've analyzed my action, my intention, everything that I'm doing. What it's telling me is that my wave is peaked on this particular thing. Yep. So now I need to be quiet. Yeah. And I need to just wait. And I need to have faith and trust that the universe, God, will provide everything I need at exactly the right time.
And it always happens.
And it happens. Yes. It always happens when you stay in belief. Yeah. Right? You know, we talk about manifestation in Christianity, we call it prayer. And, you know, there's a path to creation. Mm-hmm. The path to creation begins first with belief. Yeah. It starts with belief. Yeah. So if you don't believe it, nobody else will either, and that includes God.
Believe.
Right? There you go. Believe. Yeah. Believe is always first.
Yes.
Okay? All right. Believe is first. Then we have to embody, which is becoming, right? I must become the person and the entity that I was meant to be. And I have to do that now. Yeah. I'm not going to become that person. I have to be it now. Yeah. So I'm going to embody this, and I am that today in that scenario. Okay. So belief, right? Then become, which is embodiment. Now, when you believe and you become and you put action and intention together and you resonate to your higher power, things are going to start happening. And your higher power is going to go, oh, you know what? I think I know what Logan's trying to do. And in order for that to happen for Logan, I need that person over there to move here. And that person knows this person. That person will get that person, and that'll connect to Logan. And then those things start happening, right? Yeah. The higher power, the universe starts organizing because your action and your intention are aligned with purpose, okay?
It's like playing a chess game.
It is. And then suddenly the doors start opening and you start seeing those synchronicities, which are absolutely amazing. Yeah. Okay, so that is when you begat. Okay, that's an old biblical word, begat. You got it from the synchronicities. And where do they come from? That higher power. That is begat. You can call it what you want. It's an old word. It is biblical. I got to try and find another word that's not necessarily, but I do like begat. I don't know why.
It's interesting.
Yeah, okay. So begat. Now, what's the last final thing? Behold. Okay. Yeah. Behold is gratitude. It's being grateful for all the things that you just got.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
So the correct order to create what you want in life and the life that you have, it begins with belief.
Yeah.
Then I
100%.
embody it and I become.
Yeah.
Then I put action and intention in it and I resonate with my higher power and I begat. I get it.
100% is
I
possible.
get
100%
it.
of the
I
time.
created it. I prayed for it. God heard my prayers and he gave me what I asked for. Okay.
And
Now what? Behold, look what God gave me. I'm grateful for that.
And what do we do when we pray? We verbalize it.
Yes.
Use verbiage.
Yes.
Get it out there. Put it in the universe.
Yes. I don't know about you. My belief on prayer, and I'll share this with everybody, and it's up to you if you want to adopt it or not, but I don't like to pray silently.
No.
Okay.
No.
And the reason I say that is because I know that the only person that can hear my thoughts is God.
Yeah.
Only person that can hear my thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay. The angels can't hear your thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a silent auction.
No, they can't hear your thoughts, but the angels can hear your voice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they can hear your voice.
Vibration.
That is correct. Yeah. So I like to say my prayers out loud, which means I pray by myself because I don't want everybody to hear what I'm praying about. Right. That's between me and God. Yeah. Okay. So that's why, when you look at manifestation and you look at multiplication, you're really resonating to that higher power and leveraging that belief system that you have to manifest and create what you need in life. Yeah. And if you follow this and you start with belief and then you become, you will beget, and then you behold and repeat the cycle. Yep. And when you do that, that is multiplication. And that is what makes life bigger, greater. The beautiful thing about gratitude and why it is so incredibly powerful is the way that it ripples. It's the way that it ripples through the universe. I know, when I did that exercise and I did it, anonymously, I don't like to draw attention. I'm not trying to promote my podcast. This is just goodness I'm putting into the world. And then it ended up in social media. And my daughter found me and she sent me a picture and she says, "Was this you, Dad?" And I'm like, "Oh crap, they figured it out." Right. But I was surprised that my daughter got it. Yeah. How did my daughter get it? Because she saw it on social media. Yeah. Why was it on social media? Because I touched the lives of multiple people.
Yes, you did.
Okay. And what was amazing for me was to hop onto Facebook and read those threads of the people that found the things that I had created.
That ripple effect.
Yeah. And then it created, on 2 groups in Facebook that are pertaining to the area that I live, 2 very, very lengthy responses from the community on how amazing is this. Right now we're so divided, and yet here's somebody's going out doing something like this and leaving little surprises for people.
Random act of kindness.
Correct. We need more of this.
We do, because kindness is in short supply.
It is. That's why we have to take this show and grow it, right? Yeah. This is a gratitude rebellion, and it will only grow if you guys help us. You want to fix the divide in this country, it's done with gratitude. Yes. I'm going to say it again and again and again and again and again. If you want to fix what's going on in this world, learn the word gratitude, man, and learn gratitude entanglement, because you can fix everything, And you also lack fear. Okay. Yeah. When you know the equation of life and abundant happiness and you live it and you're confident, you have no fear. I have no fear. I'm not worried about what's going on in this world because I know I will be taken care of, and whatever happens. And I need to learn the lesson for whatever that I need to learn. Exactly. But I accept that. Yeah. I accept that. Okay. You know what, God, I'm not quite sure why you're doing this, but I accept the lesson. And I know that whatever the outcome is, it's always the best possible outcome.
It's the outcome meant for you.
And you see, when you understand that, you let go of the victim perspective.
You do.
You let go of it and you say, you know what? I'm not a victim. Yeah. I'm a thriver, and I can create my own reality, because the universe is a mirror. You are what you are inside is project. What you are on the outside. That is correct. Yeah. So if you want to change your world on the outside, it begins within. Yes. Right? That's a biblical verse. The kingdom of God is within. That's true. Right? Now, who's God? That's up to you. You got to figure that out. So let's talk about some examples of some things that you can do to grow your multiplication. So think about how you can leverage the people in your life to grow and make things bigger.
Yeah.
So when I'm solving a question, and the beautiful thing about the equation of life and abundant happiness is if you apply the principles, it works in business.
Yeah.
And that's why I have a business course called Elevate. And Elevate is something that I teach to businesses. So I basically teach personal transformation to the people in your company. When I teach those employees this technique, they're going to show up at work happier, abundant, and they're going to focus on you, which is your job. Okay, because
Productivity will
I'm
go
giving
up.
them the tools to navigate their difficult and challenging personal lives.
Yeah.
How many businesses struggle? Because I used to see it all the time.
Yeah.
When I used to lead the sales force before I left corporate America, I was always shocked as to, I'm looking at a list of a bunch of salespeople, and there's always certain people you see at the top of the list. And then all of a sudden, one year, he ain't at the top anymore.
Yeah.
And there's something going on,
Yep.
and it's affecting his production. And ultimately that affected my paycheck because I'm in sales. It's all based on commission.
It is.
So I'm like, what is going on with this dude? So I had to put my hat on and get personal with the guy. And then I found out that he was having marital problems. And that was what affecting him.
Yeah.
And that's why his production wasn't good,
Yep.
because he was getting divorced.
Yeah.
So imagine if I had taught this person the equation of life and abundant happiness and taught them how to balance their energy so that even though they were going through a divorce, they knew that they would be okay.
Exactly.
So I don't need to bring that negativity to work. I can come to work and be positive and focused because I know who I am. I know where I'm going, and I'm confident.
Yeah.
That's what this training does for a business, because you're not going to bring your crap from your personal life to work. You know why? Because you're not going to have any.
Yeah.
You're not going to have any.
True.
That's why this works for business. Now, when you think of it in multiplication in the way of solving a problem for a business, right? What does a business do using the equation of life and abundant happiness? We have to balance, right? The first thing I have to do is balance the wants and needs of the people buying my product with my suppliers so that I can create it, okay? And I have to do it in such a way that I can do it at the least possible cost.
Yeah.
When I do that, I have reached balance. I'm in equilibrium, okay? Now I'm in balance. Okay, now I have a perfectly balanced, good product. What's the next? Okay, add, subtract, multiply. So as a business, I'm now at the multiplication operator. When you're making decisions for a business, the most important thing is multiplier. How do I get this product or this idea to as many people as possible? So multiplication enters the picture. Okay, so what's the higher power? In other words, what thing am I going to create or use or channel or distribution that's going to get me the greatest? Now, while I'm at it, I might go ahead and let my resonant source know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm going to leverage that because the power of the universe is real. If you don't believe it, watch my show. All right. So that's what happens. So now I'm a company. I chose the right channel. I aligned everything in balance. And now my product is selling off the shelves. And I got an abundance of money. Okay. What do we do with that abundant money? The next operator is division, which means I owe the responsibility of my success to share it with my fellow man. So from a company perspective, how do I share? It's called dividends. Dividends are the profits from the business. That's the sharing, okay? Part of that sharing is also making sure that you're taking care of the people that created you, your customers. You have to take care of your customers. So if you take care of your customers on division, they're going to come back and repeat this cycle. And it's going to happen. You know why? Because I'm going to leverage gratitude in my workflow of my business. I'm going to put gratitude in every interaction with every customer I have. And I'm going to let them know how thankful I am. In fact, in my, you know what? Okay, I get it. So when I sell this product, I'm going to send, like, how many times, think about sometimes when you get a product and the person, like, okay, this is great. I'll give you the example. I ordered some stuff from Sweetwater Electronics. Sweetwater is an electronics store for musicians. You can buy recording gear and all kind of stuff. It's called Sweetwater. And so I ordered some things on Sweetwater, and lo and behold, When I opened my box, I got my product, but in there was a personal note,
Oh,
which I
nice.
loved,
Yeah.
and some candy,
Oh, sweet.
personal note and candy.
Yeah.
That business, I smiled when I got that.
Was
and
it
I
Sweetwater taffy?
no,
Oh.
it was chocolate. It was awesome.
Oh.
But my point was, it made me feel good as a business that they thought of me as a person.
Mm.
I'm not just a number on a spreadsheet or a guy and there's my IP address.
Yeah.
I'm a human being.
That is
So
big appreciated.
yeah, and so where do I buy all my electronic gear? Sweetwater.
Yeah.
I don't even go. I don't look at other places because I know that company cares about me and they're making it personal, which means they understand division.
Yeah.
They understand division in their thing. All right. So you see, the equation of life and abundant happiness works for persons and it works for business.
But I also think that as an individual person, you have to think of yourself as your own personal business, and everyone that you come in contact with is your customer.
Yes.
So how you treat them is how you're going to be treated back.
That's a great analogy, Logan.
Yeah.
That is a
You got to
great
be your
analogy.
own conglomerate.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, think sometimes when you think multiplication, you can also think about leveraging the power of people because that's ultimately what you're doing.
Right. Yeah.
So
absolutely.
how can I engage with what group of people to get the correct action that's going to align with my goal? Right?
Yeah.
That's really what it is. So if you don't believe in a higher power at all, which is fine.
That is fine.
That's fine. If you don't believe in anything, you do know something called love.
Yes, you do. We all know.
And every human being knows the power that comes from love.
Yeah.
And love is power.
It is.
So even if you don't believe in anything, you believe in love.
Yeah.
So how can I leverage love as a multiplier to grow my goodness?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So for the atheists out there in the world that don't believe in God, I love you. I embrace you. Embrace it with love.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Multiplication is not about doing more. It's about aligning. It really is. All right. How do we feel at this stage? I think I just said all right at least 3 or 4 times. And you have not hit me as many times as you're supposed to. So I need my viewers to hit the stinking button every time they thing. Right. No, it's just a habit. And it's something that everybody does.
That is true.
It's very common. And it's like slang, and it's really like, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So I'm trying to eliminate it. So by the next couple of weeks, I'll have that fixed. I'm going to have to do some kind of pattern interrupt to fix
rubber
that.
Band. Snap the rubber band.
Yeah. Yeah. I got to make pain in order to change it. All right. So choose one intention today.
Yeah.
That's my challenge to my listeners. Choose one intention today, just one. Okay. So to do that, you have to first be aware.
Yeah.
So get out of your head, get out of your past, get out of your future, and enjoy the here and now.
Get unstuck.
Correct. Now, in the here and now, what's the one thing that you want to put intention on today? And pick that thing and then put it into action. Stay open to the resonant higher power and disconnect from the outcome. Okay. That's really important. I cannot stress that enough. When you tell your higher power what it is that you're trying to accomplish, the most important thing that I can tell you is let go of the outcome.
Yeah.
Let go of the outcome. You can't control it.
Nope.
You can't control
Whatever's
the outcome.
Gonna happen is gonna
Too
happen.
many probabilities. Okay. So think about that. When you let go and you trust, you ultimately believe, don't you?
Yes, you do.
And therefore, the universe rewards you and you get it.
Yeah.
So you have to know that whatever it is, I'm asking for this, God, higher power, love. I'm asking for this, but I understand that in the end, everything that happens in my life is exactly what I need.
Yeah.
It is exactly what I need because the worst possible thing that happened to you was the best possible outcome. I struggled as a kid being abused because I hated God. And I used to be like, God, if you're real, why are you not protecting me from this man that's hurting me over there?
Yep.
And I grew hateful and resentful. And it impacted me most of my life.
We became bitter people that would check.
Bitter. Party of
out on other
for
people.
us, it was bitter party of many.
Yeah.
Only our friends that knew our condition would understand that.
Yeah.
But that's true.
That is.
Today,
we're free from that.
Free, 100%. And we freed ourselves of all mental conditions, disorders,
those chains that were holding us down. We broke
using the
those.
equation life and abundant happiness.
Yeah, and it worked.
It works for everybody.
It does.
It works for everybody. That's why I need you all to help me push this show so people can find it and we can go change the world together. Because that's what this show is about. This is a gratitude rebellion. I'm going to say that on every single one. And we can fix this world. Yeah. We can fix it, but we have to be deeply rooted in gratitude. Yeah. It is the secret sauce. It's the secret sauce that makes everything in the world work. You want to bring everybody together? It's done with gratitude. Yeah. It's done with being grateful. It's about acknowledging that we're all on our own paths.
Yes.
And I see you and I respect you. And you see me and you respect me.
Yeah.
That's what gratitude does. That is exactly what gratitude does.
And if you want to learn more about this, go to itspurelove.com.
That's right. So the mathematics of the soul is simple. Set your intention, take action, trust the higher power, let go of the outcome. Critical. Yeah. And gratitude will balance that equation. All right. Now, Logan, what are you thankful for?
I'm thankful that I got some sleep.
Yeah. You know what? We need to celebrate that. Round of applause.
Yay.
Round of applause. That is a big deal because you had been awake for 35 days.
Yeah, close to
because of the disease that you have and the insomnia that it creates. You were awake for, I know, over 30 days because we were keeping track there for a while.
We were.
So last night, and we'll just share some of this with the listeners.
Absolutely.
You a friend of you gave you some CBD oil.
Yeah.
And you took the CBD oil, and lo and behold,
knocked me out.
Knocked you out.
Yeah. Slept like a baby.
Interesting.
And woke up naturally.
Oh, interesting that something from nature,
homeopathic,
actually helped you sleep.
Yeah. Because the medication
I'm going to celebrate that again. That's another round of applause because I know how challenging that is. I can't imagine being awake for 30 days. I don't know how you did it. That's why I said you're one of the strongest people I know.
Thank you, brother.
Right?
I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I want you on my team.
And you're strong as fudge too.
Yes, sometimes I still fall off my horse occasionally because I'm human.
Because we are. Yeah, we're
absolutely. Yeah, it's like
we're not saying that we're perfect.
Nope. When you write things like the equation life and abundant happiness and you teach it and you talk about it and you put it into the world, it also can come back to hurt you because then people go, well, you're not living your principles. And sometimes I need to hear that. And I'll be honest with you because I'm human.
Yeah.
Okay. And I got an amygdala and 50 years of negative living. Yeah. And it's so easy to fall back into that trap. And when you do, you realize it. And you know why you realize it? Because you don't have any synchronicities and life isn't working and it's feeling frustrating. That's when you dial back in, you go back inside, you get quiet, you wait, you look for an answer, you believe and let go of the outcome.
Yeah. Don't
You're going to climb out. You will climb out of that hole.
Yeah.
All right. Personally, me, today I am grateful for this new format that I have. Yeah. I like the new everything. And that's why we were off air for around 30 days because I had to put all this together and to make it all seem and this API key goes here and it's so complicated and I don't have that skill set and I've had to rely on some people to help me. One of them, which is Jason Willett. So I'm going to give a shout out to Jason Willett today, a personal friend of mine who I met him online years ago and he was instrumental in helping me with the Charm Eagles food truck and putting the website together and all the amazing things that he did. And he and his partner Joel are very good friends of mine and I love them dearly. And Jason he's a genius. So is Joel. They're both geniuses. Jason's forte is in computer programming and he's brilliant. Like the guy is so smart. One of the smartest people I've ever met. And he's the one that was helping me put all this stuff together with the streaming keys. And it's so complicated
and Joel
today.
is an accomplished chef.
Oh yeah. Very. Yeah. You want a good meal?
Yeah,
absolutely. And two just amazing people. And I love them to death and how they show up in the world. And they've always been supportive of me, through my trials and through my challenges. Some people scatter and that's okay.
That is okay.
They should have scattered because I was a wreck.
Well, that's
but some people, it is. They practice subtraction and they walked away from me because I was a mess. And that's the truth. And I own that. I absolutely own that. but I had to fix my life, and I had to fix my life the right way.
Yep.
And I had to fix it in a way that is permanent.
Yeah.
Right?
This is permanent.
This is permanent.
Right?
Yeah. When you live the equation life in abundant happiness, it's permanent. And I give you some tools that'll keep you plugged in forever. Because that's the problem with most transformation programs and processes. You're going to fall back to your old ways.
Yeah. And it's easy to do that.
Right. So that's
program,
where we use the experiential learning, right? Because you're going to get a deck of cards. And in that deck of cards are 101 exercises that are designed for you to go out into the world and experience love in the most beautiful of way. That every time you do it, you get your heart full, you walk back into the world you believe, and everything starts working for you.
And if you want to live abundantly happy and know more about these cards, you can go to iplGRATITUDE365.
It's purelove.com. Right. It's purelove.com. Yes. Our social handle is iplGRATITUDE365. But you really want to go to itspurelove.com to find out about it. And you can also go there to sign up for the course.
Yes.
Okay. And right now, it's a 1-to-1 course, meaning that if you want what we have and you want to learn this, it is 1-to-1.
It's not 1 to 7 or 8 or 10 in the classroom.
It's a complete package, right?
Catered to you.
We're going to do some online training, right? So typically, let's talk about that real quick. Sure. So when you sign up for my course, which is actually called Gratitude Entanglement, Personal Transformation.
Yes.
On my website, there's also one called Elevate. That's for businesses that are interested in putting this inside of their businesses. So there's 2 paths that you can go. And on the opening page, there's one called Core Principles. Click on Core Principles, and it kind of talks about everything that we do, here with the Equation Life and Abundant Happiness. But essentially, if you wanted to transform, you wanted to change your life, you would sign up. And you're going to have about 3 hours of instruction with me one evening. And then we're going to take a break. And then we're going to have 3 more hours of instruction a second evening. The first evening is all about making and helping you understand the principles. Yes. And I teach experientially, including that as well. Okay, I use cards to teach you. I've kept everything simple so that you can remember it, because my brain is simple.
Yeah,
it has to be symbols and easy to remember. Yeah. So we use some cards to teach you some principles. It's almost like a game, but remember, with experiential learning, you retain 90% of it.
That's true.
All your traditional learning, you retain 10%.
Yeah.
Experiential learning, 90. So why are we not teaching people with experiential learning?
Yeah.
Hello, I am.
Yes, you are.
I am, because that's what works.
Yeah.
That's what works specifically with this technique. It's experiential learning. So what was I saying?
So you're saying that if they click on if they go to itspurelove.com, and if you click on the first icon of that list, if you're looking for personal transformation.
Yes. Okay. So thanks, Logan. See it? That's why I call them hard drive, because that's how my brain works. It's connected, it's working, and then boom, it just drops off. That's from the damage.
Misfires.
That's from the damage that happened to me from being abused as a kid.
And that's your damage. And then I had the power of remembering everything.
Yeah.
That's a blessing and a curse.
I forgot everything, and you remembered everything.
And it's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
It really is.
So when we see, I've lost it again.
So when you go to itspurelove.com, and you're looking for personal transformation, you go to the first icon of the list. Yeah. You click on that, and you'll have 3 hours of exponential learning.
That's all I need. I needed 3 hours.
Yeah.
When you said 3 hours, I knew, not where I was at. But otherwise, my brain's going, it's going all over the place.
And then you'll take a break and have another 3 hours in the next
There evening. You go. Okay. Thank you, hard drive. So after that training, your first 3 hours is the symbols. The next 3 hours is I'm going to be teaching you and setting up the experiences, because they're going to be experiences you're going to be living for 5 days. Yeah. For 5 days, you're going to be living in gratitude.
You kind of set the stage for them.
And during those 5 days, you're going to be working and doing your regular life. And during those days, you're going to be completing exercises that you will complete with friends and family. And guess what? The public.
Yeah.
You're actually going to work with some strangers in some of these exercises. And those are the most beautiful. Those are the ones that ripple.
You have to get uncomfortable to get comfortable.
That is true. That's how you overcome the self-limiting belief, which is what these are designed to do.
Yes.
So I'm going to put you in a situation that you're uncomfortable with. I might ask you to talk to a stranger.
Yeah.
Well, if you're uncomfortable talking to a stranger, Doesn't that tell you that's a self-limiting belief about yourself?
That's
that
true.
maybe you don't value yourself or think that your opinion matters?
Yeah.
Why are you afraid to talk to somebody? That came from your childhood, honey. We need to fix that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a self-limiting belief that will come from these experiential exercises. So now you're going to complete the exercises. And in completing the exercises, we're using gratitude and we're using love.
Yes.
That's it. Every exercise in the experiential deck is based on gratitude and love. And they are amazing, and they're incredible teachers.
Yes.
They teach concepts and principles that you cannot learn any other way.
Yeah.
So we design the experiences during those 5 days. The first 3 days, you're in a specific type of experience, and my secret sauce, I'm not giving that away. You got 3 days of very specific exercises that you're going to practice. At the end of around the third day, you're going to experience something that I call the boop. That's what I call it.
Yeah.
Boop.
The aha moment.
There is a moment in time, and everybody that's taken my course knows what I'm talking about, when suddenly you just realize
you get it.
You get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's an amazing moment. And I always tell people, take a picture when you get that.
Yeah.
Okay. When you feel that feeling and you know what I'm talking about, take a picture and send it to me.
Yeah.
Okay. I always see the most beautiful glow of light on their face.
Yes.
When they get it.
Yeah.
And it is so empowering and so beautiful to see it. Yeah. Because that person now gets it. They've let go of all their crap. And now they are abundantly happy as their authentic self for the first time in their life.
And have confidence.
Yes. Okay, so then the next 2 days, so the first 3 days are very specific. You're still going to do your job. You're going to work into all the things that you do.
It's not going to disrupt your life.
But these exercises are going to be weaved in your day-to-day interactions.
Yep.
That's what they're designed to do.
Yes.
So after the end of those 3 days, understand that I'm going to be working with you, and you're going to be taking photo. We use video coaching. Yeah. So when you complete an exercise, you will basically record a video and send it to me. Then we post it in the Facebook group where everybody else that has taken my course can provide comments, support, and help you grow your life as well.
It's like a video diary.
It's a community.
Yeah.
It is, but it is a video diary of your own personal transformation.
Yes.
You can go back and look at the first video that you sent in from your first exercise and how weak and how afraid you were. And then you go back to the last video that you sent me and you are awake, you're open, you're confident, you're standing tall, and you're like, I know who I am.
And we didn't do that when I started. We didn't do the video diary.
We didn't back then, but it's been a growth, right? It's been a work in progress. Yeah, the experiment created a product.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So then the next 2 days, I'm gonna assign some experiential exercises to this person that I think they need.
Yes.
Because each of those experiences teach a specific principle or a lesson. So if a person is, say, struggling with body image, right, which is very common, you struggle with it, I struggled with it. So if body image is something that I see as still something that they're holding back on, I have some specific exercises that I can do with a person that will help them get over that body image, these experiences that they're going to do. And yes, it's going to take some vulnerability. Yeah. But that's how you get over it. Like we did one of those exercises with you.
Yeah.
And it worked, didn't it?
It did. Yeah. Okay. I still get stuck in my head every once in a while.
Sure.
But I think we all do. We're human.
Yeah. And so you recognize it and you go, nope, that's not really who I am. That's an old thought coming from my old subconscious mind. That's not me. But the reason why you recognized it is because your neural pathways are positive. Yeah. And you took a negative thought and tried to run it through the positive pathways, and the positive pathways go, it don't fit. Yeah. So then you gotta understand that if you don't let it go, it's gonna activate what? The old negative network. And in time, gets a hold of that. It'll grab you and it'll suck you right back into your old way. Yeah, that's true. That's why you have to be present in the here and now, and you police your emotional energy 24/7, 360 degrees. Yeah. And when you learn that, everything becomes perfect. Yeah. So during those last 2 days when you're working, I'm going to assign you some cards that are specific to some things I think would really help you. Mm-hmm.
It's individualized.
Yeah, they're individualized. And those cards, you can do them whenever you feel like you kind of got to do them when I send them to you, to be honest with you, because in real life, we get things thrown at us constantly. So when I send you a card, during the day.
Try to execute.
Yeah, but I also want to stress you out a little bit because I want to see how you perform under stress. Because if you scatter under stress, then you aren't balanced, are you?
No,
you haven't learned how to balance, because you shouldn't scatter at all. You should be calm, cool, and collected at all times.
Yes.
Okay, that's true balance. So sometimes when I'm working with people, I might give them a card that isn't convenient on purpose, because I'm trying to teach this person a lesson about how they're showing up in the world. So I have to make it inconvenient, because I want you to realize, are you going to still get angry when something comes into your field of vision that you're not expecting? Or are you truly balancing and go, wait a minute. Okay, that's negative. And I understand I'm not being punished. This is simply a learning lesson. What do I need to learn? This negative is that, and I need to bring this to neutral. 1, okay, I got that. 2, yep, that one makes sense. That's a great benefit. 3, okay, I get it. So from that learning lesson, I got these 3 positive things that come, and I've reached that space of net neutral. And now I put that thought away in my subconscious, neutralize. So my subconscious mind can no longer use that as a negative to predict my future. Oh, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, we'll leave it alone. You're training your amygdala. You're training your reticulator activating system using these methods. That's what this does.
Yes.
Okay, but you got to do the experiences in order to change. And that's what this class does. So at the end of the 5 days, I then give you the entire deck of cards, and they're digital at this point. I'm actually going to have them printed, and you'll be able to purchase them. It'll be part of my course, so you have a card deck. But the idea is you've got 101 cards now. And the reason what makes what I do different is the anchor that I provide to keep you in this state of being.
Yeah.
That's the problem with most transformation programs, because I've done them all. I've done them all. One of them was up in Las Vegas, and I loved it. It was a large group awareness training, and it went really well, and I learned a lot, but there was no anchor. And over time, I fell off and got back to my old ways. So I transformed, and I transformed back. What I do is transmutation. Now, I know that's a little weird of a word. Like, some people hear transmutation, they relate it to alchemy, and they go, oh no, this is woo-woo stone and crystal crap. No. It's not that at all.
Nope.
If you understand, transmutation happens when you change from within using the same material. Okay. So what I like to think about transformation, I can transform somebody by putting different clothes on you. But the minute I take your clothes off, you go back to who you were. Right? Think about it. How do you act differently when you're dressed up?
Oh, you have
confidence.
You feel good about yourself. You look good.
And you dress differently. Take those clothes off. How do you feel now?
Frumpy, lazy.
Different. So that's the problem with most transformation programs. They're going to transform you. They're going to teach you. You're going to be that shiny, amazing person, which is going great. But you don't got a technique and an anchor that you can use, and more specifically, an equation that you can apply forever. That'll keep you in the work.
Subtraction, multiplication, division.
But the real key, it's gratitude. Because gratitude is your anchor for the rest of your life, no matter what happens. You know you can go into the world using these techniques and create goodness that will lift your positive energy. It'll realign your neural pathways. It'll keep them clean, keep them open, and you're not going to fall back into being that old crappy self. That is the difference.
It's so easy to accomplish, to achieve it. And you don't have to read umpteen books to get where you
that's
need to
the beautiful thing about the course. You don't have to read. You're going to experience. And you know what else the cool thing is one of the most common things I hear from people is how fun it is.
It is fun.
You know what I mean?
It is.
Like, I had somebody give me, she called me, and this person was like the last person I would have ever thought would say that this is fun.
I know who you're talking about.
Okay. Yeah. And she was like, oh my gosh, this is fun. Like,
it is.
I love this.
It is fun.
And most people, once they get over the first hurdle, get a little bit of confidence in them.
Something under your belt.
We call it when they land the first 5-star, and we'll leave it right there. When they land the first 5-star, everything changes.
Everything falls into alignment.
Falls into alignment. Are you bringing these flies? Like, what's going on with that?
I don't know.
All right, my good man. Thank you for joining us today on iplGRATITUDE365 podcast. Remember this: intention plants the seed, action waters it, and a higher power which you provide, your resonant higher power, what resonates with you. Okay? That higher power provides the sun that makes it grow. What you multiply today does not come back the same size. It returns bigger and multiply. So choose your intentions wisely, act on them boldly, and trust the resonance of something greater. Until next time, keep multiplying love, dividing fear, and equalizing your life with gratitude. And tomorrow we will be back talking about division. And then on Saturday, we're going to tie it up with the equal sign, which is what started it all.
Yeah.
Gratitude. And Saturday will be a fun day because we will have completed 365 sunrises and probably, I never counted them all, 265, 270 podcast episodes that we did. I'm quite amazed and thankful.
Yeah.
I'm just thankful.
If you want to learn more about it, again, go to itspurelove.com.
That's right. And we'll see you all tomorrow.
Please like, share, and follow.
Oh, yeah. You're so good at that. Thanks, Logan.